This is the BYD eMAX 7, the brand's very first MPV in the country. It's fully electric, it's got captain seats, it's got a decent amount of range, and it's surprisingly affordable. Allow us to take you around the car and tell you the things that we like and possibly dislike, and let's find out together if this MPV could be your next or even your very first EV. Whip out the AutoDeal app, available on iOS and Android, of course, but I'm pretty sure you already knew that. And you can find that the eMAX 7 starts at 1,498,000 Philippine pesos. But for this superior captain that we have here today, this is priced at 1,748,000 Philippine pesos. Now, at that price, this top of the line is still more affordable by 240,000 Philippine pesos over the hybrid Xenix. Now, powering the eMAX 7 is a motor that produces 201 horses and 310 Newton meters of torque that is powered by a 71.8 blade battery. Now, that battery can be charged via DC up to about 115 kilowatts. You can do 30 to 80% in about 30 minutes, which is pretty good. And if you use the AC charger at home, you can go from 0 to 100 in about 13 hours. Now, the one thing I don't like about this particular area is this wasted space here. I realize it's an MPV, but hey, space is space. They could have had a frunk. The eMAX 7 closely resembles its stablemate, the BYD Atto 3, with large headlights that wrap around to the side with a metallic grille in between. Down on the side, there are 17-inch wheels wrapped in 225/55 series tires, giving the MPV a ground clearance of 170 millimeters. Now, around the rear is a taillight that spans the width of the car on a power tailgate. The eMAX is a pretty practical car, boasting 580 liters of space with the third row folded. Plenty of space for a pair of balikbayan boxes. Now, with the third row up, you are limited to about 180 liters of space. Gaining access to the third row is not an issue because you do have captain seats and you can easily pass in between. Now, the headroom is, well, nothing spectacular, and I'm already not the biggest person on the planet. The legroom can be decent depending on how generous the person in front of you is seated. So this obviously is a 6-seater, not a 7-seater, thanks largely and obviously because of the captain's seats. But back here for the passengers here, you're better off with smaller passengers and for quick trips around the city. Anything longer than that, it might become a hassle. Also because there aren't many things that you can use back here because you've got cup holders, no speakers, and that's about it. But you do have air vents. You have your own air vent there. I have my own air vent here, so it's okay. If I had to sit back here on the long road trip with Jack, I would cry. Stop it. So like I said, access for the third row or the second row, not going to be an issue because of the gap that you have here in between. But that gap may cause issues. We'll get to that in just a minute. First, the comfort. It's very good. You have, you like that? An armrest. Decent amount of leg room for me. I can stretch out a little bit. The headroom is much better here in the second row than it is in the third row. And you do have a share of the panoramic glass, which is very, very nice. Enough for me to stretch out. Toys back here include air controls directly here up front, a cubby hole, USB charging points, Type A and Type C. You do have speakers on either side, and of course, bottle holders also with your air vents directly above you. Now, what we noticed, especially Jack, is that he is a much larger person. So with his height and his heft, if there were two of them back here, it would be a little tight because the seats tend to be kind of narrow, maybe because to make space for the passengers here, or rather the space here in between. So captain seats they are, but don't expect first class or business class. The leather feels nice, but the overall size and comfort of it is not business class or first class. I would liken it to, let's say like you got lucky and you were able to get premium economy. Captain seats nonetheless, but you're not exactly spoiled to the brim. Know what I mean? If you would like cars that will spoil you a little bit better, we feel, here in the second row, there are options like the Hyundai Custom. check that out. The links are somewhere down below. Or, what am I talking about? The bigger brother of the eMAX 7, the eMAX 9. We've just recently did a walk around of. Check it out. It's also in the links below. If you've ever been in a BYD before, or if you've seen any of our videos, then this setup here will look somewhat familiar to you, especially the infotainment screen that rotates in the center. Now, the thing I like about this infotainment screen is it's not overly huge as with some of the BYD cars. And because it's not overly large, when you put your hands on the steering wheel, it doesn't block most of what you need to see on the infotainment screen, which I like. Now, on the infotainment screen, obviously this will double as your reverse camera, 360 camera, mind you. And it also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. To continue with the theme of wireless, you also have a wireless charger found down here. And then below that, your electronic shifter and some physical buttons for your audio, to turn on your air, and also the level of your regenerative braking. But that would be it for your physical controls. The rest of it are located inside the system, which can be a downer at times, because if you want to get to your air quickly, it might be a hassle. But there are steps to ensure that you can get to your air immediately. The three fingers of BYD up and down to control the temperature and the blower controls. On the steering wheel, nice, it feels good. You've got buttons for your adaptive cruise on your left-hand side, and then controls for your audio on the right-hand side. Also, buttons to control your instrument cluster, which, by the way, is kind of cute, strange, and odd at the same time, because, well, this is a full EV, and yet your instrument cluster are two analog gauges that flank a digital chip computer in the center. It's just a bit strange to me, but they work, and that's all that really matters, really. I will say, however, that some of the information found on the screen is a bit small. Like, for instance, the battery charge, it's a bit small. It took me a while to find it. I thought I was going blind, but it's there in front of you. It just took me a while to see it. Onto the rest of the cabin. Visibility is absolutely awesome. You've got a huge windshield, and also your A-pillars aren't going to be an issue because you have these quarter windows so you can see when you're turning and on the road. I love those windows there. The dash is quite low and mostly flat except for this little hump here. The textures are good, clean. The piano blacks are limited to this area here. The seats are very comfortable. They're powered, and they are also ventilated at the same time, which is great. Great too will be the drive of this vehicle because, as you guys know, it is an EV, which we're going to get to right now. But before we do, please consider subscribing to our channel, because I desperately need to get my daughter her own Spotify account.
Is your algorithm getting messed up?
Dude, I am so sick and tired of listening to Demontres Hunters. Dude! Seeing as the eMAX 7 is a people mover, it does that very, very well. It's an electric vehicle after all, so it's quiet, cool, calm, and there's a lot of power that immediately comes on like a light switch, whether you're on standard mode or not. MPV or not, yeah, it still gets going. The wind noise kept down to a minimum. Obviously, there's no engine noise. The one thing that you may notice is the tire noise. That kind of creeps in. But then, of course, it'll start doing so once you hit about 85, 90 kilometers per hour. Even when the car is fully loaded, you can expect this vehicle to pull its own weight. But just don't expect like crazy dynamics when you're going around turns and bends and whatnot, especially if you're getting a little racy with the accelerator. It is an MPV still, after all. With a claimed range of 530 kilometers, you will most definitely be tempted to take this out of the city, which is all well and good because you've got some driver assist to help you while you're on the road, such as lane keep assist, adaptive cruise, which, by the way, works at high speed or when you're stuck in traffic. And then there's always the ever popular, well, at least to me and Jack, ventilated seats. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, let's move on to who we feel that this car would be good for. Well, it would be great for a family that's still looking for a people mover that is both high-tech and has zero emissions. So whether it's taking the kids to school or heading to the office immediately after, this definitely has the chops, range, and capabilities of doing both of that without any worries to the battery. And like we said, a trip out of town is never going to be an issue with this, and you can be assured that not only the driver but the passengers will be sound as a pound inside the car, whether you're heading out or coming home. If I may, I'll leave you with this. I drive a PPV. If I were ever going to change it, I'd probably hit a crossover. But this car in itself makes a case to be on the top 5, even the top 3, because it's got everything that I need and want. It's got the space, it's got the tech, it's got the smoothness, it's quiet. I don't know. Maybe if this had just a little bit more ground clearance, yeah, I might not even look in the direction of a crossover anymore. Maybe.
You are omitting one thing.
What am I omitting?
The fact that you're a cheapskate.
I am a cheapskate, which means...
Yeah, the running cost of this is so much less than a normal car. How often do you have to take your PPV to the casa? Twice a year?
Twice a year, once every 6 months.
This one is once.
Once a year? Once a year.
No oil changes, no air filters, you know.
It pays to be a cheap bastard. The eMAX 7 takes the popular MPV form and electrifies it without breaking the bank. The feature set is up to date, the range is pretty good, and its running costs are going to be much less than that of the average MPVs that we see plying our roads. So the good value it presents doesn't just stop at the showroom floor. Speaking of showroom, download the AutoDeal app, connect to dealers nationwide to help you get the best car at the best price.